So I say there's plenty of blame to go around. And quite frankly, the rhetoric is white hot. And we should try to solve problems instead of keep pointing fingers at each other and saying, well, back then this happened and back then that happened and we should do it this way and that way. Hey, we have to focus on today. What's happening today? And right now, we are not competitive. And to think that this effort to so-called close a corporate loophole is going to help? Are you kidding me? Have you actually gone out to the businesses and say, will this in fact help you? Are you in favor of this? It doesn't work unless you also lower the corporate tax rates to make them competitive worldwide. Because otherwise, if you keep the corporate tax rates as the second highest in the world, by doing this, you're just going to chase huge amounts of jobs over, and we are going to exacerbate the problem that we're experiencing right now. I often wonder, why does it take the Chinese to build say a 500,000 square foot building in less than a year? And I have experiences in shopping malls where they're just trying to put on an addition and it takes years. The siting, the permitting, the regulation at the local level, the harassment that businesses get. If you're a business or you're a corporation, the mentality is that you're evil, that you are not good. When we should be embracing businesses for employing. Because what is a corporation? Last I heard, it's a group of individuals forming together to take advantage of protections and opportunities to expand and be competitive globally. Since when did being a corporation become a bad name in Washington? Am I missing something? How do you feel we're going to get out of this economic mess? It's not going to be by hammering the corporations and small mom-and-pop businesses and raising taxes in the middle of a 2-year recession. Are you kidding me? It makes no sense. High taxation, over-regulation, re-regulation, citing, permitting. You take the municipal laws and regulations, couple them with the state laws and regulations, and the federal laws and regulations. Then you throw in the EPA just for the heck of it, or any other agency, National Labor Relations Board. Just pick an agency, want to put their hands in. Then you throw in the taxation levels at the city and town levels, state levels, the federal levels. Why do you get out of bed to turn on the lights? You kidding me? I mean, what is the incentive for people to actually keep jobs in the United States of America? In Massachusetts, the NFI, Associated Industries in Massachusetts, have deemed Massachusetts the worst business climate in decades. That feeling is around the country. When I got elected, they sent a very powerful message to people. They were tired of business as usual in Washington, the disconnect when you're dealing with regulation and taxation and debt and spending. We don't seem to have learned a lesson at all. We're going to do something right now where we're giving a little piece of candy by offering a potential tax break for, closing a corporate loophole. Because remember, the Democrats, the majority party, are apparently protecting Main Street. Isn't that nice? And apparently the new guy here, I'm protecting Wall Street, apparently, and big corporations. I didn't know that. I thought I was fighting for the people of Massachusetts in this country to get this body working together to solve real problems. Enough of the rhetoric, enough of the blame, enough of the posturing for the upcoming November elections. How about just solving problems? How about getting our country moving again and get us competing globally? I want to talk about jolting the economy and giving money to people. I want to talk about helping corporations and businesses stay competitive. How about making the R&D tax credits permanent? How about fixing that 1099 mess? How about accelerated depreciation for small and medium-sized businesses to give them the incentives to get cranking and create jobs? Do you know how much money is on the sidelines, folks? And I've done my homework. Believe me, in this position, I have to be prepared or else. Do you know how much money is actually on the sidelines? Corporations and businesses are just saying, you know what? Boy, the health care bill? Yeah, that's going to cost me about $440 million. That's one corporation in Massachusetts, one of the biggest employers, and has the market on a device that saves people's lives. Hires, I think it's about, 25,000 people throughout the world they hire? If we do this, if we close this loophole, so-called, those jobs that were in Massachusetts and the United States are going. So let me see, it cost them $200 million because they're a medical device company. And then the implementation of the health care bill, that's another $240 million. So that's, correct me if I'm wrong, $440 million. So where does that come from? R&D, employees, expansion. Why would they hire or even talk about hiring workers? Why? Thank you. But I felt it was that important to come and make my point that I've been here about 7 months and we've spent 10 days talking about jobs. Am I on a different planet or something? We should be talking about jobs every single day that we are in session. God, we spent 4 days, 3 or 4 days talking about the Disclose Act. Give me a break. Do you think the 15 million, give or take, unemployed people throughout this country are concerned about the political content of political ads in the middle of an election season to give one party a tactical advantage over the other? Or are they concerned about jobs? I know the people I speak to in Massachusetts and throughout the country, they want to talk about jobs. And how can we do it immediately? We can talk about, as I said, the R&D tax credits, making them permanent. That 1099 bill, there's no reason why we can't take that separately and put it forth in a bipartisan manner, clean up and down vote to protect the small businesses that are getting crushed through paperwork. There's no reason why we shouldn't be able to fix that. If we can't even do that, we're in deep trouble. Accelerated depreciation, across-the-board payroll tax reduction, top-to-bottom review of every federal program, a freeze on federal hires, a freeze on federal pay increases. I know it's not popular. We've got to look at these things. We've got to look at entitlements. We've got to collect the monies that are owed to us from contractors that we've overpaid or through fraud and abuse owe us money. Come on, common sense, folks. And again, echoing his words, this bill will make America and its multinational companies less competitive. So it's not just Republicans sounding the alarm. My colleague, who I have great respect for on the other side of the aisle, is questioning also the wisdom of this legislation. And having the second highest corporate tax rate, I noticed my colleagues that spoke earlier, they said, well, I don't want to characterize how they speak. Excuse me. But the companies that are going overseas, yes, they're taking advantage of the lower tax rates, absolutely. But you would believe, just in listening, there are also lower labor costs as well. Yes, and in some countries that's absolutely true, but in places like Belgium and Ireland, I respectfully disagree. Companies are going there to get a good, solid workforce, paying good wages, but taking advantage of like the 11-12% corporate tax rate. Versus, I think it's 26%, if I'm not, 25% corporate tax rate. 35. Jeez, I'm sorry. I'm a little under the weather. I apologize. So I will correct that in the record, but I'm fading a little bit. But I had to take exception to that statement that everybody's going overseas to take advantage of the tax rates. Well, yeah, this is a global economy. We're fighting a battle here, and when China can do the things that they're doing and basically, provide, well, let's just step back. So I remember growing up, and you look at space exploration, roads and bridges and teachers and, all that R&D tax credit money, all that great stuff that we would use to lure businesses from other parts of the world here. You know where that is now? It's all debt service to China. It's all debt service to China. So when you see, and when I speak to the companies back home in Massachusetts, and they say, we need A, B, C, and D, I'm like, you've got no money. It's all in debt service to China right now. Love to give it to you. So how do we get our financial situation moving forward? We're not going to do it by having the tax cuts expire. We need to address the tax extenders. We can't just play games and push it off and push it off.